Johns is on the wing. He's wearing number 2. Brad Fittler is the youngest tourist at 18. He's in 3. And Kevin Walters, his twin brother, played on Sunday. He's in the centres at 4. Dale Shearer has to prove his fitness tonight. He's on the wing, the Brisbane Broncos winger. And Cliffy Lyons from Manly wears 6. Ricky Stewart, stand by for some fireworks from this fellow. He's in 7. Glenn Lazarus plays at 8. Benny Elias is the captain tonight. He's the tour vice-captain. He's the hooker. The other prop, Mark Sargent. 11 is David Gillespie. 12, Mark Carroll, player from South Sydney. And 13, Brad Mackay. The coach, Bob Fulton. And there is Bob Fulton in the middle of your picture. Alongside him, his captain, Mal Meninga. And that is where the Australian test lineup will be watching this match from tonight. This is the side that's up against them, and Chris Perry plays at fullback in place of the injured Kevin Harcombe. David Jones is on the wing. The club's recent big money signing from Wigan, Jed Byrne, plays in the centres alongside Phil Eden. Andy Mason, leading scorer with 5 tries this season, is on the wing. Tracy Lazenby, man of the match in the recent Yorkshire Cup final at standoff half. And the scrum half, Mark Conway. And he will be doing the kicking tonight. Harcombe is out. Adrian Shelford, the big Kiwi, is the prop forward at 8. John Thompson is the hooker, the longest serving player here. Nigel Bell is number 10. Andy Kelly, the club captain, wears 11. And another newcomer in 12, Nick DeToy, former Wigan and Barrow player. He plays tonight. And Gary Price, one of the brightest prospects in the British game, is the loose forward. And no stranger to the Australians is the Wakefield Trinity coach, David Topless. Big night for these Wakefield Trinity boys, 4th in the First Division. And perhaps not many of them will get the opportunity of facing the Australians again. So they're out to make a bit of a reputation here if they possibly can. We're all set. The referee then checks his watches. And Mark Conway gets this second match of the 1990 Kangaroo Tour underway. And Wakefield Trinity will be quickly into the tackle in these early moments. But to be fair, that's exactly what we saw at St Helens on Sunday. It really is a question then of whether not only can they hold Australia, but can they turn the possession that they might get into some point advantage. Benny Elias caught shepherding, crossing in front of the Wakefield Trinity players, so a penalty in the first 30 seconds here to Wakefield. It's right in front of the posts, about 32 metres out perhaps, and well, we saw a similar situation on Sunday when St Helens had to employ an emergency kicker. Mark Conway, though, this time is no stranger to taking pot shots at goal. So Wakefield could be off to a real flyer here.
Well, it certainly lifts their spirits. They certainly need it. The conditions obviously will not favour the Australians.
And this is an important kick, even though it's just a minute into the match, because it will settle the nerves. And if Mark Conway can slot this over, well, there'll be an enormous cheer around this Bellevue ground. Here he comes. And he's slotted it, so that's a great start for Wakefield. They're ahead by 2-0. It's only Mark Conway's second goal of the season. He's kicking the goals tonight as an emergency because Kevin Harcombe is out injured. But as you can see, straight between the posts, Harcombe wouldn't have done any better himself.
Certainly not. Right over the black dot, and that's what the Yorkshire boys wanted.
So now they will have to drive the ball out of their own territory. Oh, and there's a bad mistake, and immediately the Aussies swoop on it. And this is where they are so dangerous. They force the errors. Brad Fittler, the man in possession. That is Cliffy Lyons, the ball working across the face. Tall man he is, Mark Carroll. Well brought down, though. Kevin Walters, the dummy half. It's David Gillespie and Shelford and Kelly and Conway using their weight to force him back a couple of metres. Benny Elias, a dummy half. Penalty, though, to the Australians. for that challenge by the three players, and this is the reason why.
Well, I can understand the referee. He let three of them have a go in there, and they just pulled the player down. And that's silly tactics by Wakefield.
So a penalty to the Australians, and Greg Alexander, who had such a magnificent season back home, taking Penrith to their first ever grand final. Not normally a fullback, but having to slot into this superstar Australian lineup wherever he can, and playing fullback tonight.
Yes, he'll be the super sub for the Australian tourist this particular tour. He played about 9 games for Penrith early in the season at fullback and proved to be a sensation, a man that's gained in confidence this year.
Here he comes then to try and level the scores, and he manages it quite successfully. So Greg Alexander levels things up. 3.5 minutes gone, and it's 2 points apiece. Wakefield Trinity 2, Australia 2.
Alexander, of course, the ideal man to bring on as a substitute, and I feel that if he doesn't force his way into the test spot, he'll definitely be one of the 4 as a reserve.
Australia defending this impressive record here in Great Britain. 33 games in succession they have won in this country since 1978. They completely trounced St Helens on Sunday, as you would have seen on the Sports Channel. And the scrum down, awarded by the referee, and head and ball to Wakefield, and they're deep inside the Australian 22. So here they come, Lazenby, with the opportunity to run at Australia for the first time. Such a match in the Yorkshire Cup final a couple of weeks ago. They play an important part here today, as will the conditions, I think. You saw Wakefield fumble the ball there, but Gary Price held on. David Jones, man in possession, right on the 22. Bell, Conway, Shelford, right down the middle. That's where you'll see him doing all the running today, and this is good play from Conway. Oh, the referee was in the way there. Managed to unload. Ball drops to ground. Tony Elias having a word with the referee, and it comes out again. Cliffy Lyons battling away for it. Referee says it was a knock-on. Another scrum.
Well, a little unlucky there for Wakefield, but good play by the half, Conway. And if they run from dummy half, they can cause a few problems for the Australian side. And they're not packing in straight there.
So a penalty to Australia at the scrum. Adrian Shelford, the giant number 8 for Wakefield there in your picture. But this is the danger man, I fear, tonight for Wakefield, Ricky Stewart, the Canberra Raiders scrum half. He had a magnificent game in the grand final. He's a player with great influence on the match. And this is Glenn Lazarus, the man you may remember Mike Stevenson told you almost missed the plane because of his wedding the day before the Kangaroos left for the tour. And no love lost between Lazarus and Adrian Shelford here.
Well, Lazarus showing his strength. He certainly wasn't held, but this was rather foolish of him. He should have come back inside, especially in slippery conditions.
Yes, I rather fancy the conditions will play an important part tonight. It has been teeming down with rain here in the north of England throughout the day. The pitch is bound to be greasy. The ball will be like a piece of soap. Wakefield get possession from that scrum. Lazenby trying to make inroads, but a good tackle. And Australia caught offside. Inside the 5. So a penalty to Wakefield Trinity.
Both sides just feeling their way through into this game. A bit of excitement out there. Of course, with the conditions, Australia, I feel sure, will use Stewart with a big, long kicking game. Fulton, the Australian coach, will want the game played right in the Wakefield half.
Lazenby's kick, that was a bad kick, and that was well held over on that far side by Chris Johns. It was a bad kick from Lazenby. He didn't find touch, and Johns caught it about the second or third attempt. So the Australians quite good from their point of view, but dreadful from Wakefield's point of view. They're back in possession. Elias. Here they come again. Mackay, great ball to Mackay, but it was a forward pass, I think. The referee's whistle has gone anyway and is bringing the players back.
Just a little one there, and you see Mackay left it a little bit too late. Fittler overrunning. But you'll notice that the Australians are taking the first receiver very wide and using the strong second rowers running hard outside.
Chris Perry in possession for Wakefield. He's an Australian. He was discovered playing with the local amateur side nearby here. And he will be anxious to impress his fellow countrymen here tonight. Wakefield must hold on to this ball for 6 tackles if they can. Eden doing well, Wakefield, keeping the ball alive. Lazenby, that was a dangerous pass from his scrum half Mark Conway. Long pass, didn't really give him any possible hope at all. There's the ball, bounced just in front of him, see, on the turf. It's very slippy. Just slipped through his fingers. So here come the Australians again. Shearer out to prove his fitness tonight. Dale Shearer. Alexander, the dummy half. Here's the big forward, Mark Carroll. Scrum cap on. Elias. Good run from Gillespie. Hauled down by Kelly. Elias again. Here's Lazarus. That's good tackling. Nigel Bell doing well, helped out by Lazenby. Stewart to Lyons. And inside then to Mark Carroll. We've seen a lot of the ball early on here. Elias is the man, though, who organises from dummy half. Little kick ahead from Stewart. And Perry is the man who gets to it first. And so Wakefield now will try and work that ball away from their own try line.
That was a good play by Nick DeToy there. Good kick through there and diving onto the ball.
But as you can see, they've not made too much progress. And that's 3 tackles gone. So Wakefield really are up against it to get that ball away from the danger zone. They've decided to run it. And that is the last tackle in this set. So Wakefield have to kick, that they do, Conway, but it's right down the throat of Greg Alexander. And this fellow can move a bit. He's a crafty player. That was good tackling. 10 minutes gone. Wakefield 2, the Australians 2. But here come the Aussies once again. Fittler, just 18. Look at the size of him. Elias from dummy half. Lazarus coming forward too on the blind. This is Fittler again. Great ball from into Fittler's arms there. This now is Stewart. Stewart, where he's gone round Lazenby, has got a man out on that far side. There's another one coming in support. That's Sargent. Sargent's heading for the corner, and I think Sargent's over for the first try. Mark Sargent, first try, sliding in on the wet turf. His momentum taking him over the line. He touches down in the corner. They will be delighted on that Australian bench.
Good support play by the Australians here. Stewart throwing the dummy, breaking it through, just dummied, pitches the ball over the top. And watch the big man from Newcastle, Mark Sargent. The weight, and of course the slippery conditions. Now watch Stewart throwing the dummy, there's no one there. And John's an easy switch round with the big fellow coming out wide. Good try. Notice Stewart again, and you'll notice that Wakefield has drawn the man in, and John just offloads to Sargent, and there's no one at home there. Too late in for the first try.
To Mark Sargent with the first try of the evening. Newcastle Knights. He plays full back home. Greg Alexander will try and add the extra, but it's a difficult kick in these conditions. But what a superb kick from Alexander. Great stuff from the man who came over in '86 as the third choice halfback, and tonight playing at fullback. He slotted over the extra 2 to give us that situation. Wakefield 2, Australia 8, 12 minutes exactly on the watch.
Pretty ominous for the Wakefield side. They have to watch the running from dummy half of Ben Elias.
And they have to watch this fellow too, Brad Fittler, from Penrith, the youngest player on the tour. And taking 2 to bring him to ground there. Stewart with the kick. Lovely action from Stewart as he kicks. He's a former Wallaby, of course, toured Argentina with the Australian Rugby Union players, but my word, the chasers close in on the man in possession, and they push him out wide, and Mackay there taking the tackle, sliding Perry over the line. It was Johns actually, and Mackay completing the job, sliding him over the line, another scrum down. Great chasing from Australia once again. They're so fit. That's good switching play. Alexander, he's got Shearer out on this near side. Good tackle though coming in from David Jones, bringing the big Aussie down. This is Alexander though, the momentum keeping going. Lyons, long pass from him. There's the prop forward, Sargent, try scorer. Elias again. This is Carroll. Elias, the man who organises from dummy half seat. And this now is Gillespie on the blind side. And just to slip the ball out, but the tackle was completed. Penalty to Wakefield.
A little bit overconfident there, the Australians, but look at this wonderful inside pass by Stewart. And that's the confidence of this side, even in these wet conditions. And there was the, the penalty. And maybe the referee a bit too hastily.
Penalties going Wakefield's way so far, 3-2 in their favour. And there's another one for offside. So that's good news for Wakefield, but Kevin Allard quickly on to the mistakes and the penalties. Well, some might say he's giving the Australians a hard time.
I think a lot of referees are going to give the Australians a hard time on this tour, but Wakefield really want to get back into this game, and I'm sure that their coach Dave Topless would have seen the game last Sunday. And St Helens made quite a few inroads with a little chip over. I'm sure that Wakefield will use that sometime during the day.
At the moment, though, they intend to run the ball. This is Thompson. Price, the man in possession now. That was Mason. The ball moving quickly across the line. This is good play from Wakefield. Kelly, their captain, can't go anywhere with 3 round him. Ball laid back to Lazenby. Well, he needs a bit of chalk on it, perhaps. And straight up in the air. Lazenby's followed his own kick-up. Good play. And they get the ball back. That all went backwards, so the referee waves play on. Jones is out on this near side. He's got to go round Shearer. Does so. Good run from Jones. Comes out of trouble well. Conway, good run from him. Oh, and they left the ball behind. Thompson had to be brave and was. Lyons all over him. Keeping the ball alive well. Kelly, long pass out to the far side. Mason with the kick ahead. Oh, and the ball really is like a bar of soap. And it goes out of play. And a penalty to Wakefield, as Mason was pulled back as he went to field his own kick here.
Well, yes, Mason, good kick. He goes for it. Lyons making a meal of it. And Lyons being adjudged to pull back Mason as he attempted to get that ball. But good play by Wakefield.
And they've decided to run the penalty and not try and take the 2. They're going for 6. No love lost between Shelford and Lazarus, is there? Oh, great run from Nigel Bell. He's almost over the line, but they're just held up. Bell just held up. Wakefield have got a chance here, though. They must be over this time now. Did he ground it? Dutoy, he has grounded it. And that's the first try for Wakefield. And the referee right on the spot. And it's brought this crowd at Bellevue really to their feet. The big South African, Nick Dutoy, former Wigan player and Barrow player, has gone over underneath the sticks for the first try for Wakefield Trinity. Now, did he ground it? The referee says he did. He was right there, see?
He was Johnny on the spot. Good play by Wakefield here. They run through, beautiful step. And you see from this resulting play of the ball now, they can't get him down. Good tackling to keep him into the field of play. And we see Shelford drop into the dummy half, and from that position, the South African du Toit went in for the try.
And so Conway has this kick to add the extras, and does so. So, we really do have a match on our hands here then. And this is the try again, Mike.
Yes, good play by Shelford. It wasn't the best of passes, but the strength of this man went through. Mackay couldn't hold him. And the referee was Johnny on the spot. And isn't he excited? And why not?
Well, indeed so, because it's levelled the scores up after 18 minutes on the clock. It's 8 points apiece. And that was du Toit's first try for Wakefield Trinity. It couldn't have come at a better moment.
No, it's just the fillip they needed. And I think this Wakefield side are beginning to realise that if they keep this ball alive, anything could happen.
Long way to go yet, of course, but it's all square. And just 18.5 minutes on my watch. And you know that here in Yorkshire on this wet and miserable night, they've got the scent of a little bit of history. That's a better catch from Chris Johns. And that was good tackling from Phil Eden. Now then, have the Aussies been stung? Lazarus. Elias again. David Gillespie. There are plenty of mistakes here on both sides. Who has got possession? The referee says Wakefield have. Won't find too many arguing inside Bellevue tonight. Thompson with the driving run. And he dropped that one. That must be a knock-on. No, the referee says no. Or he's just consulting with his linesman. Yes, a knock-on. Thompson's not happy. The referee... Well, it's not a knock-on at all. He had the ball ripped out of his hands.
Well, that's a new ruling from me. I've never seen a referee actually look at the touch judge to see what he should rule on like that. I thought they just looked after the the white line on either side of the field. But it certainly was Elias that pulled the ball out, and the Australians are rattled.
Yes, Wakefield really do have them on the ropes here. Gary Price. Much hope for Gary Price, of course, and that was a little ambitious from the try scorer du Toit. Surrenders possession back to the Australians. Johns on that far side. Well brought down, though. Good cover tackling from Wakefield. Du Toit, see the man who made the error. Back trying to tidy up. Here's Lazarus again, using his weight and strength. And my word, he's a fearsome sight in that green and gold jumper. Elias very much the organiser from dummy half. Here is Mark Carroll. Surprise choice to many, Mark Carroll. His club, South Sydney, finished bottom of the Winfield Cup table. Mark Sargent. Elias again. There's Stewart. And now Lyons. Nice ball inside from Lyons, keeping it going well. Good play from Australia. This is Kevin Walters. This is the last tackle. So what will Australia do here? Stewart, little kick ahead, going for in goal, and the touchdown behind the line. Have they watched the referee's decision? Well, they think they've scored a try, but the referee said that he'd lost it, and we can maybe see the reason why here.
Beautiful kick by Stewart, and well positioning by Johns. And, well, did he ground it or did he lose it? Referee said he lost it. Sigh of relief by the Yorkshire crowd.
I think looking at that, he just had it on the wrong side of the line from an Australian point of view. As he went over the whitewash, the ball spewed out of his grasp. And look at du Toit there with his nose bleeding from the challenges. And the referee wants a word with Mark Carroll.
Well, there's a lot of talking going on out there, and quite frankly, the Australian forwards, they're being rattled by a little bit of professionalism by the Wakefield side. You notice they keep slagging off to each other, saying the odd word. They're being sucked into it.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It will be a famous night here in Yorkshire if Wakefield pull this off here. They have the best possible man, though, in charge of them at Wakefield, David Topless. He's met them 7 times before as player and coach. He's been on the losing side 6 times, but won a test match at Wembley in his career, David Topless. Australia then looking rattled here. We're midway through this first half. Are the conditions helping Wakefield, do you think?
I think they are, but Australia have only got themselves to blame, and I'm sure that the message from Fulton will go out to look, just settle things down, use the forwards, let's not do anything fancy. They realise they've probably got the fitness, the edge in that department for later in the game.
Here's Cliff Lyons. That's a good ball. So is that. This is Shearer. Good tackling though from David Jones and Lazenby. Lyons again. Shearer still there in support. Good sidestep. This is the last tackle. So what will the Aussies do here? Stewart will hoist the kick underneath the posts to test Perry. Has it gone too far? Oh, the ball has bounced kindly for the Australians, and that's brilliant following up by Chris Johns. And Perry lost that completely, and Johns swooped in, one bounce, collected it, touchdown. He won't score an easier try all tour.
Well, this is what a football can do to you. Perry, well, he probably has to hang his head in shame here. He slowed down, expecting it to just go on. He should have tried to force it. An easy try. But look at the height that Stewart gets with this, a la rugby union. And really, Perry should have accelerated there. He shouldn't have let the ball even have the opportunity to do that. And Chris Johns won't get an easier one on the tour.
So just when it looked like they were rattled, Johns goes over for the try, and Alexander adds the extras, and the Australians are back in front. Bad mistake by Chris Perry. I wonder, had Kevin Harcombe been there, would that have been the situation that we have now? 14 points to 8 in Australia's favour. Well, dreadful conditions here at Wakefield Trinity. Let's check what it's like on the pitch side, and Peter Hutton can tell us.
Well, the rain stopped down here, but we can reveal the secret behind Chris Johns' try. He was having problems early on getting his footing. He had short rubber boots on at that point. He couldn't get the grip on the pitch, so he's got longer studs from down here. Because of that, he got the grip and able to go in for the try. One of the visitors to the touchline, Phil Eden of Wakefield, just a bit of strapping to his wrist. But otherwise, no problems down here. Well, the rain is now beginning to come back again.
I think it's going to be one of those nights as far as the rain is concerned. But interesting that. Change of footwear for Chris Johns, it did the trick.
Well, I'm surprised that he actually went onto the onto the pitch in the first place with without long sprigs. It's been raining in Yorkshire all day.
25 minutes gone then, the Australians back in front. But Wakefield not out of this, and that's a better catch by Chris Perry. And Australia had moved up inside the 10-metre mark, caught Perry. And so offside, it's a penalty to Wakefield Trinity.
And a correct decision by the referee here. Really didn't give this guy much chance. So, was it 5 yards? Well, referee says no.
Penalties make an interesting count already. 8 to Wakefield, only 2 to Australia. So the referee, as they say, down under, bagging them a bit, isn't he? Big Andy Kelly. Well offloaded. Gary Price.
Wakefield really have to throw caution to the wind here to get back in. They have to score a try before the half-time break. They can regroup, get the spirits ready for the next 40 minutes.
Wakefield in possession then, in midfield, but Chris Johns, the scorer of that try, we understand, has got his problems. Peter Hutton has all the details.
Well, the situation with Johns is that his left knee appears to be giving a few problems. He's limping on it quite badly. The physio waiting to get on and see him as soon as this attack's broken down. But Johns is certainly in trouble.
It didn't look as though there was much wrong with him when he hurtled after that kick ahead, but that was a good kick from Wakefield, pushing Australia back inside their own 22. And here it is from Mark Conway. Saw the gap behind the Australian defence. 3 bounces and a little roll, and it beat Greg Alexander. And so we have this scrum down, just 10 yards short of the Australian line. Great push on. And they've done well. The ball has come out on Trinity's side. Mason. Oh, and, well, what happened there? I just can't possibly believe that Mason allowed that ball to be pinched from him like that.
Well, I think Mason left the ball on the ground in the hope that he was going to play it back with his foot. And the Australian said thank you. Bad mistake there.
Unbelievable. And this is where the Australians got the ball back.
No, it was definitely lost before then. Referee, correct. But Lions couldn't believe it. It's a gift. They can't afford that.
And Wakefield can't afford to do that either by conceding penalties in the danger zone as far as they are concerned. What a good player this fellow is, Ricky Stewart. He really does kick well. Perhaps harks from his rugby union days, as you intimated earlier on, Mike.
Yeah, he's a great player, but this Australian side isn't getting it all their own way. They realise that. Bell just come up, pulled off another great tackle. He's tackling his heart out, this guy.
There's Stewart again. Long pass to Lyons. Stewart and Lyons at the hub of everything that the Australians are doing. And, oh, Cliff Lyons furious with the referee, back chatting to him. Not only has he conceded a penalty, he's conceded another 10 yards.
Well, this is the type of thing that we're not used to with the Kangaroo Tour. He did use him as a shepherd. Shearer actually didn't run in front of him, but he did push the Wakefield player away, preventing him to get anywhere near Lyons. And those silly penalties will be giving their coach Bobby Fulton plenty to talk about at the half-time break.
Good driving run from Shelford, but the referee's whistle has sounded. 2 of the Australian players left in Shelford's wake.
It was intimated that it was just a touch forward. You'll see it on the replay, but well, there was no argues with that one, was there? Elbows went all over the place.
Referees just held the clock up while running repairs are done to Mark Carroll. Nasty bang on the eye that he's received.
Not surprising what an elbow can do. And there's quite a bit of claret coming out on the players there tonight.
Certainly is. And that looks a bad cut. Shelford is cut as well. Carroll has received that cut, Mark Carroll. And so there really is just a look at the blood that's pouring down Shelford's face, but he doesn't want any dressing on it. This is perhaps the reason why.
That really was a heavy collision.
Clash of heads, I think, the way Shelford's holding his eyebrow there. So, blood streaming down the face of Shelford.
Well, I don't think the players will be happy with this, especially the Australian ones. They're not used to this. The game continues on back in Sydney.
Well, he's got the scrub cap on there, but, well, it's a hard game, isn't it?
Not a game for sissies.
Australia get possession from the scrum. It's Mackay. This is Lyons. Oh, he shrugged the challenge off easily. Good play. Here they come again. Shearer. Well done, Wakefield, though. They forced the man into touch.
That was good cover tackling, and there's an all-in brawl. Forget the game. You're seeing the replay here. Good defence by Wakefield, but, oh, the players are all running in.
John Thompson's involved.
And believe you me, they're not exchanging addresses.
Lenny Elias and John Thompson having to be separated by the players of both sides. They're the two huckers, two fine little characters. And I think the referee will have to have a conference with his touch judge to find out what went on there. As the ball moved away from the scrum, the two players were scrapping and fighting and battling on the turf.
Well, it was brewing, Eddie. There's been a lot of talk out there, and there's been some cheap shots being thrown. It had to happen. It had to erupt.
As Shelford gets running repairs. And someone's been sent off. I don't see any sign of a yellow card. Thompson has been sent off. I see no sign of a card. So is that sent off for good? And by the looks of things, Mark Carroll is off. So two players sent off here. Quite dramatic happenings at Bellevue. Thompson off. There he is, number 9. He'll take no further part. And Mark Carroll, who received that nasty bang on the head, needed the repairs. He too, I think, will play no further part in this match. So Wakefield and Australia down to 12 men.
Well, let's see whether that will calm things down.
Shelford, the man coming forward, missed the ball, took the player as he slid through. It was Kevin Walters, and conceded a penalty on his way.
Far from impressed, Shelford here. It's slippery conditions, no doubt about it.
The Australians trying to work the ball away. Tempers are just a little bit overflowing out there. Things are running very hot. One player from each side sent off. Thompson of Wakefield, Carroll of Australia. Both off, taking no further part. Penalty to Australia.
Well, once again, we see some high tackling, late tackling, knees coming in, laying all over the player.
Substitution being made. Let's get the details from Peter Hutton.
Andy Wilson, the man who's come on, and Phil Eden, the man who's come off. Phil Eden having strapping to both his wrists, and he's just gone off as a safety precaution, maybe back on second half if he can be given out.
So Wilson comes on, Eden off. And of course the important news is that both sides down to 12 players, but here's Mackay driving his way down towards the Wakefield line. There's Elias again. Stewart, Lyons, good play. Oh, there's a gap opened up. They're in here, no problem. Kevin Walters with the try. They split Wakefield apart with that. It doesn't matter whether they have 13 or 12 players on the pitch playing like that. They just slice through defences.
Great long ball by Stewart. The spinning ball, look at that. Super. Out to Lyons. Lyons saw the gap, drew in the wingman, and Walters did the rest. And that's where you suffer. Look at all the forwards bunched in. What a great ball there from Stewart. Lyons had all the time in the world. Beautiful pass out wide. And Walters, normally a 5'8", playing in the centres tonight. Watch this. Super stuff. Come home to me. There's no one there. Lyons knows it. Draws in the wingman. He's left in no man's land. Walters does the 4 points.
Dutoy, the man coming in over the top to try and prevent him, but Kevin Walters over for the try. And Greg Alexander has that angle to add the extras. Just wide this time, waved away by the touch judges. Greg Alexander, reliable kicker, but not on that occasion. 4 minutes to half-time, and the Australian lead has increased to 10 points.
Well, Bobby Fulton, the Australian coach, will breathe a sigh of relief, and I'm sure in just over 4 minutes' time he'll have plenty to say to his players, as they really have been sucked in, and maybe they can get down to playing football.
Well, you say they've been sucked in, but they still have this 10-point advantage as we approach half-time. Elias, though, with a good break, good support play from Stewart. I was most impressed by Stewart during this season in Australia that we've seen here on the Sports Channel, but he won't be too pleased with that, just sliding out of play.
Once again, we see Elias running from the dummy half, and you notice there's just so much space there. I'm afraid the Wakefield defence is being sucked into the middle, and you can't afford to do that against a class side like Australia.
First touch for the substitute Wilson. Here's Lazenby. He needs to create one or two openings for his colleagues, just as he did in the Yorkshire Cup final a couple of weeks ago, a match we also saw on the Sports Channel. He was man of the match that day. He's up against different opposition here this evening. Adrian Shelford. There's the Wakefield bench. They don't look too happy. Encouragement, though, from the substitutes. No wonder, because Wakefield are in possession. They dropped the ball. Shelford picked it up. The referee said it was a knock-on. And it was big number 10, Nigel Bell. As a result of that tackle there, what a good tackle by Benny Elias. Man and ball, and forced the ball to squirm out of Bell's hands. Handling errors, Wakefield have made 8, the Australians 3. And that on a night when the conditions are, quite frankly, appalling here. Rain streaming down, greasy pitch. The ball must be like a bar of soap. And that was another error, though, from Cliff Lyons. He won't be too happy with that.
Yeah, it's a bad ball here from Lyons. He has a tendency to be the hero or the villain. And he does that quite a lot for this club side, Manly, in Sydney.
Look at the rain here at Bellevue. Really is pouring down here tonight. Many of this crowd inside here, I can tell you, really are getting a soaking. There's not too much cover here at Bellevue. Thankfully, we're under a little bit of it. Jed Byrne, the club's record signing. Number 3, he played against the New Zealand Tourists last season for Wigan. Completes the set in the blue jersey of Wakefield here tonight. Kelly, the club captain. Byrne in support. Good play. Mason. And Mason really can get motoring if he gets the chance. So can this fellow David Jones, but not with tackling like that. Great tackle from David Gillespie. Copybook stuff from the Australians. Jed Byrne again, going nowhere. Last tackle. Half a minute of ordinary time to go. Lazenby's got a kick. Goes straight up in the air. And underneath it, well, players of both sides. And the errors really are coming in thick and fast. What's the referee's decision going to be here? Ricky Stewart has possession. I think that will be his decision.
Well, you can see the conditions here. The ball just like a bar of soap.
As we go into stoppage time, the Australians in possession towards the end of this first half. Great run from Gillespie. And again, another error forced by the conditions. Rain pouring down, greasy ball, slippery top, and look, just couldn't get it at the first attempt, Jed Byrne, and had he done, the field was opened up ahead of him. Penalty at the scrum, though, to Wigan. Conway deposits the ball into touch. So can Wakefield get back here as we approach half-time? Shelford with the driving run. He's come into collision with Australian jerseys many times in the past, not only for Wigan, but also for New Zealand. Here's Gary Price. Great prospect, Price. Good play. Kelly, Conway. Long pass. Oh, dangerous on a night like this. Well picked up, Wilson. Oh, and he just got the pass out, but good tackling. You see the Australian bench applauding their colleagues there for forcing the error from Wilson again.
Yes, a poor pass, but we'll see plenty of those tonight. But full credit to Wakefield. At least they realise that they've got to do something different. They've got to keep this ball alive. I know it's not the conditions for it, but if they're going to have any chance of scoring another try, they've got to keep it going.
They played a minute and a half. There's been quite a few injuries in this first half. Of course, 2 players sent off, 1 from each side, both sides down to 12 men. Here's Lazarus, good driving run. Mackay, he's got support from Alexander. The referee's called it back, though. The referee has called it back. It's no try. It's a scrum down.
Well, the breaks are coming now. Beautiful ball by Lazarus to Mackay, and another great ball, but just forward with good support play.
And they get possession from the scrum. Stewart, and he's over for the try. Well, they got out of jail, and then they conceded possession of the scrum. Stewart picked it up, nipped round the back, over. As simple as that. Another try for Australia on this 1990 Kangaroo Tour, and an easy one from Ricky Stewart.
Yes, you saw him step there just inside of the scrum. Watch the dummy and the step. Really should have been stopped there. That was a soft try. Two second rowers really should have been able to hold back the halfback there.
And he certainly walked through Tracy Lazenby's challenge as well. So Australia edge further ahead, and a couple more points to come, I think. With the kicker of Alexander's quality, he'll surely slot this one over. And he does. And we're deep into injury time here in the first half at Bellevue. There is the half-time siren. Alexander has added the extras, and so the Australians are ahead by 24 points to 8 here.
Welcome back to Bellevue. 24-8 to Australia, the score in this second tour match. Let's go back to commentators Mike Stevenson and Eddie Hemmings.
And the match is back in progress. Nick Dutoy, the man in possession for Wakefield Trinity. Interesting to note at the start of this second half that Wakefield have made a change. Chris Perry, their fullback, has been taken off. He'll play no further part, and so he is replaced by Richard Slater, who will be wearing number 14. And Slater has slotted in at fullback. I wonder whether that try that Perry conceded with the high bouncing ball has got anything at all to do with that as far as David Topless is concerned. Meanwhile, a penalty here to Wakefield right at the start of this second half. The mouthpiece there, you see it floating out of the young winger David Jones's mouth. Cliff Lyons, the man who was penalised, and a great kick from Mark Conway, pegging Australia back to their own 22.
Well, that's a type of kick that Conway has to produce in the second half. And we saw there that Lyons very lucky not to spend at least 5 minutes in the sin bin for a very high tackle.
Lazenby then for Wakefield. They really must get a point or two on the board here, I think, at the start of this second half to give us a bit of a contest. Wilson, good run from him. Great run from Wilson. Now he's only got the one man, Alexander, to beat. He's going wide. He's got him licked for speed. No, he hasn't. Great run from Andy Wilson. And here come Wakefield Trinity again. Another substitute. That's Richard Slater, just come on. His first touch. Bell is the acting halfback. Conway. That's a good run from him. Well played, but not the night for clever tactics and unloading the ball too freely in the tackle. Here's Wilson, who really has set the crowd alight at the start of this second half with that great run. Mason going nowhere, and what's more, he's dropped the ball. Lazarus has dropped on it gratefully for the Australians.
Full credit to Wakefield. They realise they've got nothing to lose. Let's keep the ball alive. On a wet night, the crowd wants some excitement, and they're certainly going to give it to them.
Two interesting statistics from that first half. Alexander's kicked 4 out of 5 goals in poor conditions. Contrast that with Sunday, when the Australians couldn't put the ball over, only 2 going over from 8. And the top tacklers in the first half, Gary Price for Wakefield with 17, and Brad Mackay of Australia with 18. The Australians coming forward again. Alexander, oh, he's put his foot down on the pedal there. Oh, and the ball flipped up neatly for Andy Kelly. He read that one well. And the crowd breathe a sigh of relief as Wakefield get the ball back.
Saw the speed there of Alexander. He really is fit for this tour. And Australia trying, as Wakefield are, trying to keep the ball alive.
Now here's a good break from Nick Dutoy. Mason, he's got Wilson out in support on this near touchline. If Shearer can get round Shearer, there could be trouble here. The ball's still in play. Dutoy, he's got Conway. Oh, and the ball eventually running out of play. And it's going to be Wakefield's head and ball, according to the touch judge. The Australians don't like it. Conway just forced into touch. Great run, though, from Dutoy here.
Certainly was, and good play also by Alexander. Well, Conway, a little bit of professionalism there, threw the ball against Alexander, and the touch judge said, yes, you're put in on the ball.
Lazenby then from the scrum. His opposite number, Cliffy Lyons, bringing him down. This is Nigel Bell. Now Shelford. Good ball out to the far side. David Jones. I do think that Wakefield have got a bit of pace out wide. If they can just work the ball out to their 2 wingers, Jones and Mason or Wilson, who's now playing out on this left-hand side. Here's Mason playing in the centres. He's got Wilson in support. He doesn't need him, I don't think. Oh, great run! Wonderful try from Andy Mason. What a great try. The try of the night. And they are delighted. And so is the Wakefield Trinity bench.
And so they should be. That was super. The step inside, and full credit to the Wakefield side, and also full credit to their coach David Topless. Beautiful ball here, right out wide for Conway. Slater, watch the step. He goes through, he's got the speed. Here's the step here. Alexander just could not keep his feet. Andy Mason, that was good play. Now watch him come through, and I think you'd have to agree that Shearer certainly hasn't got the speed that he had on the last tour. And he's been troubled with injury. But let's not take anything away from this guy. He has the speed. Look, Shearer's got nothing there. And the step, Alexander slips. And in for a great try.
So Andy Mason, his 51st career try for Wakefield Trinity. And his 6th of the season. He's the leading scorer here. And Conway really can put Trinity back in the picture had he got that one over the top of that crossbar. But my word, Wakefield come out at the start of this second half, and they're going to give the Aussies a match here. Wakefield 12, Australia 24.
Yes, and I think that Topless has read the game right, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Bobby Fulton take Shearer off. I think he may replace him very, very shortly.
Shelford driving that ball down the middle, as he's done so often for Wigan last season, Manly during the summer in Australia, and he's now doing here in Yorkshire for Wakefield Trinity. And it's just warming up a bit again here. Lions, though, doing well. This is Mackay. The conditions not helping the Aussies. Although Thursdale Shearer, he had to play tonight, really, to prove his fitness. Some doubt about him actually making the tour. But he has done. He pulled out on Sunday, and he's in this Australian side tonight to try and prove his fitness. But that's a great run from Sargent. And there's Bob Fulton, the Australian coach. Furrowed brow. Cliff Lyons, good play. That was Fittler. Long pass from him, asking a bit from Johns. Chris Johns just had to watch that as it sailed out of play.
Well, a beautiful ball by Lyons to get young Fittler into an open spaces. A little bit too high for Chris Johns. They're really not put in the stamp of excellence that we've become used to on the Australian sides.
This fella is an excellent player, though, Stewart. Great pass from him. Oh, and I tell you what, Kevin Walters is waiting for the challenge. Stewart's in support. Shearer stepping off both feet. Good tackling by Mason and Dutoy. Australia still haven't finished, though. Lyons. And this is another good run from Kevin Walters. Good tackling by Lazenby, though. Elias again, masterminding from dummy half. Lazarus coming forward on the charge. They've got to hold him up. I don't think they have. The referee has pointed to the spot. That silenced the crowd. It's another try. And just when it looked like Wakefield were coming back into it, that surely will bring a smile to the face of Bobby Fulton, because Glenn Lazarus has gone over the line, under the black dots, and another try for Australia.
Just sheer strength here. Keeps going, pushes off Conway, and Shelford couldn't stop him from planting the ball over for another 4 points. And this is a typical example of a defensive side hanging off. Wakefield didn't move up. In fact, the momentum took him over, despite Shelford trying to kid the referee that he didn't get the ball down.
Lazarus then with the try, Alexander with the goal, and they've increased the lead after we had a brief little bit of Wakefield pressure and that great try from Andy Mason. He's kicking well tonight, Greg Alexander, in difficult conditions. And a substitute about to come into the fray. Let's go down pitch side and join Peter Hutton.
Well, Billy Conway, the man coming on. Andy Kelly, the man coming off. Billy Conway, a hooker. They've, of course, lost their hooker, John Thompson, sent off inside the first half.
He's not up, eh? He's not up.
So the captain takes a breather. He'll play no further part in this match. But there's the new man on, Billy Conway. He is a hooker, 6 years here at Wakefield Trinity, and he has to have a bit of a say in what's going to come in the next half hour or so. The Australians then increase the lead. But the match not over yet. And the rain hasn't finished yet either. It's pouring down. Another good deep kick. That's one for Slater to chase. And Australia moving up like greyhounds from the traps here. They're already at the ball. And that's wonderful chasing from Australia. An abject lesson for the British players, I think, the way they chase the kicks ahead and really force the man in possession into a bit of panic in his own mind and just having to sit and take the tackle.
Certainly is, Eddie, and Australia didn't use that tactic in the first half. Obviously, Fulton has told them that there's no point in playing it tight in the forwards in your own half. Let's get the ball downfield.
Well, just as on Sunday, we had a big crowd in at Knowsley Road and they went very quiet, so the same must be said here at Wakefield. They're watching a very good unit here for Australia, but not as good a display as we had from them on Sunday, when in my view, at St Helens, the Aussies really were absolutely clinical in their finishing.
They certainly were, and of course they got the ball out wide, and the power of Meninga and the speed of Ettinghausen certainly helped. The conditions hasn't helped both sides, but full credit to them. They've tried to keep the ball alive. A lot of mistakes. That was expected.
Johns again. Thought better of it as he took the tackle from David Jones, his opposite number. He was about to unload. This is Lazarus, though. Elias. Stewart. What a good player this fellow is. Brushing the tackles off, but he won't brush Jed Byrne off quite so easily. And now they're back in the Wakefield quarter. Here they come again. This is David Gillespie. He unloads well. Mackay, steps through the tacklers, looking for support. It wasn't there on that occasion. Slater and Bell bring him to ground, but the Australians not far away from the line and helped even further by Wakefield and Andy Mason straying into an offside position, straying inside the 5. The Aussies, though, decide to run it. Shearer, good play from Lyons. He finds Fittler. The youngster's going to go over for a try. The strength has taken him through, and this crowd absolutely silenced as Brad Fittler, the Penrith centre, just uses his strength. He's only 18, and look, glum Yorkshire faces as Australia score yet another great try.
Yes, it's certainly a good prospect for the future, this guy. Amazingly, 18 months ago, he was playing against junior footballs, and notice the upper strength. Good step. Bad tackling, though. Shearer get the ball alive. Lyons just pops it over, and the step here, he's a classy player, and in for his first try in the green and gold. That'll bring a smile to his face. The kid signed a contract just before he went on the plane, and they're paying him $500 for every try that he scores on tour.
So he will be well pleased with that, as will Australia with this scoreline, and they've gone a couple of points better than their tally at the weekend. They're ahead here by 36 points to 12, and on my watch we have just had almost 13 minutes of this second half. And Wakefield again have to kick off. And that was a mistake by Ricky Stewart. The ball beat him, bounced off the turf and went out for a scrum. Good kick this.
Certainly is, and bad positioning by the Australians. Chris Johns really far too deep.
Well, the Australians have made another change. There's another substitute has come on. Details will come from Peter Hutton, who's on the Australian bench.
Mark Geyer is the man who's come on. He's replaced Mark Sargent, the front row forward, with Gillespie going into the front row and then Geyer going in on the second row.
So Mark Geyer on into the action for the last 25 minutes or so here. Wakefield get possession from the scrum. Fortunes fluttered briefly at the start of this second half. Can they come back again? A lot to make up. Crowd quiet. Big effort needed. No one will give bigger effort than this fellow, Adrian Shelford. But they've got to go with the ball, and they can't surrender possession like that to fellas like Chris Johns. Well, on a dreadful night here in Yorkshire, it looks like the Kangaroos' success story will continue. But the Wakefield players back in possession. Mason scored that great try early on in this second half. Can you see a club side, Mike, toppling them on this tour?
Well, on this performance by the Australians, they were rattled in the first half, and maybe Widnes and Wigan and Hull, if they get their act together, that they could cause an upset. But I think you'll find that against all those three sides, Fulton will ensure that nearly every player that's on the paddock will be a fully capped international.
Well, another mistake here from Wakefield. It was Adrian Shelford who missed it completely, collided with Gillespie on his way, and there's a bit of an argy-bargy going on, but the referee has indicated a scrum down, and Wakefield have head and ball. Handling errors, Wakefield have made 16, the Aussies have made 10 tonight. Understandable, really, in these dreadful conditions. Lazenby going nowhere. I must say the word that comes into my mind when I watch the Australians play is intensity. They really never let you off the hook. They never give you a moment's respite. They soak up the pressure, then they snap back just when it looks like a little revival's on the way, and they don't give you a chance. And my word, you don't need to do things like that, because Elias was gifted the ball by Richard Slater there. Unfortunately for him, the defence had come back, and now there's a little kick ahead by Lyons, looking for Shearer. Shearer got to it first, touchdown. I think he's claiming a try, Dale Shearer, but the referee says that the ball had gone dead.
A little bit too late here, and Shearer of old would have been in for the try there. And he definitely is troubled by the leg injury.
The Aussies, though, caught offside. Penalty to Wakefield. And Lazenby, off the arms of an Australian player, deposits the ball into touch. There's the kicker, Tracy Lazenby. And there's going to be another substitution there, as you can see. Cliffy Lyons is about to come off. And Mark McGaw, who played on Sunday when the ball boy will get out of the way. We'll see Cliffy Lyons come off, and Mark McGaw, who played throughout Sunday's match at St Helens, he comes on. There's McGaw just running through your picture. Lazenby then gives it to Shelford. There is Mark McGaw, tall man for a centre. And he had a great performance. Sorry, Mike, had a great performance on Sunday at Saints.
Certainly did, and he'll add a little bit more punch into, and a bad knock there, and take the mouth guard out. And this was accidental. He just caught his head underneath, and let's hope he's okay.
Nick Dutoy feeling the full weight of the Australian tacklers.
Lazarus coming in right over the top there, Eddie.
And look at Dutoy's neck. I hope he's all right. He looks a bit groggy, but healthy otherwise. The referee was quick to stop the play, and he's very groggy. But fortunately, no real damage done.
Well, I can't believe that they're going to keep him on. It really is serving no purpose. I know he wants to continue, but the game is lost. Go and have a rest.
And yes, Dave Topolis calling him off and putting Linton Morris on. Highly rated forward, signed from local amateur football last year. Dutoy getting the applause of the Bellevue crowd as he trudges off to the dugout. Linton Morris comes scampering on.
He's worked pretty hard today, Detroit. And of course, the first try scorer for Wakefield. He'll remember that for quite some time.
Scrums all square as the referee waits to welcome another newcomer on. Des Hasler has come on. And the man who's gone off for Australia is Kevin Walters. So it's all change here at Bellevue. That's just about every substitute used, I think. There might be one left, and that's Bob Lindner of Australia. He's still dry. And here come Wakefield. Now, can they give us something to cheer about? Jones. Touch judge has seen something. Wants a word with the referee. Great run from Jones down the touchline. Let's see if we can see what happened here.
Certainly was. Byrne did well here to get to Jones. Now watch the little bit of late tackle coming in there. The big fella.
It was Des Hasler, I think. He went second or third time. And he's been sent to the sin bin. So he's only been on for a couple of minutes. He's in the sin bin.
Well, I think he's got the wrong fellow there. And Hasler shakes his head. Hasler certainly went high, but he missed him. But Mark McGaw was the guy that did the damage.
Well, Hasler, I don't think he's actually touched the ball, and he's gone to the sin bin. Oh, and there's an almighty collision. And that was Mark Geyer on Nigel Bell. Well, we need a computer to work all this out now, but I make that Wakefield have 12 and the Aussies have 11 on the field at the moment. Need one of those abacus things that they have in primary schools to work it all out. However, here's Linton Morris. Good driving run from him. Well brought down by Lazarus. Wakefield coming again, coming strongly. Shelford drops the ball, though, under pressure. It's a penalty to Wakefield. Australia caught offside and inside the 5 at the play the ball.
Well, Shelford will be relieved about that, because the last 4 occasions that he's taken the ball up, he's lost it.
Nearly lost his head then. Crunching tackle. They don't let you off the hook at all, do they? The game just about won, but they'll die for each other on the line, this Australian team, both of them.
They certainly will, especially this guy, the young Penrith forward. He's a tough boy.
Now then, Slater on at the start of this second half. Not had too much to do as a fullback, now joining the line. Here's Price, good run from him, but again, the ball goes to ground. Lazenby on it quickly. But Brad Fittler says, we'll have that. And here's the run again from Gary Price.
Well, it was a good run by Price, and he tried to keep the ball alive. Elias just getting there before Conway.
Well, that looked as though it was fed into the back of the second row's feet. Mason, ball out here to Wilson. It's a stroll in. And Wakefield, in the shape of Andy Wilson, have got over for another try. Andy Wilson's come on as substitute, and he's been given a real gift despite that feed at the scrum.
That was bad play by Stewart. Missed a chance. Alexander all at sea, and Shearer, well, he won't be happy with that one. That really was an easy try. You'll see Alexander up at the scrum base, and Shearer, well, dearie me, he should have been over there. He just can't believe it. That's the easiest try he'll score for a long time. Stewart making a meal of it. Conway, great play. Mason caught a little bit of a high tackle as he passed the ball. And that really is a soft try.
Oh, a smile on the face of Andy Wilson, and no wonder. And Mark Conway can add 2 more points here if he can slot this one over. That line is about 10 metres in from touch. They're all getting behind him, the Wakefield public. I think he's kicked it. He has! The crowd have come alive. Despite the rain, they must be absolutely soaked to the skin here at Bellevue. But Wakefield Trinity have scored another try, 18 to them. But look at 36 to Australia.
It's been a long time. I would believe that a club side, an English club side, has scored 3 tries against the Kangaroo touring team.
Wigan, Ian Proctor, our ace statistician, tells me on the first match of last tour in 1986. But apart from them, even his memory is tested. So well done, Wakefield. And they're not finished yet. I know conditions are appalling tonight, but I have not been as impressed with Australia, the second string that Fulton's got out here, as I was on Sunday at St Helens with the test lineup.
I think the biggest problem is the fact that no one in the Australian side has taken control of the game itself. Normally Stewart takes the game by the scruff of the neck. His kicking game hasn't been as good as what we expected, and the linking qualities hasn't been there.
Penalty at the scrum, and I don't think there's any doubt at all. Oh, the referee says that he's going to ask the scrum to reform, but that looked like feeding to me. But the referee says that he will give Wakefield the feed at the scrum, and that is done. Lazenby. So, Slater, you've got to take the ball with you. It's almost a sliding tackle that would be at home on a soccer field, that. However, here come Wakefield once again. Credit to them, they're keeping it going.
Certainly is a credit to them, because capacity crowd here at Bellevue, and they've given their supporters something to cheer about. At least they're playing entertaining football.
And the ball coming back off the legs of the tall figure Mark Geyer. Benny Elias swooped on it quickly. The referee's whistle, though, brings him back. Lazenby's kick ahead here. But it wasn't Geyer, it was the big number 11, David Gillespie. And the referee says that the two sides must scrum down. Not happy with the way that ball went in and out. Wakefield win another scrum. Lazenby in possession. Hasler ready to come back into the action. 5 minutes served. And I think he's had to sit down again. Maybe he's got another 5 to serve. Conway trying to go down the middle. Lazarus has other ideas, though. Mark Conway with a kick over the top. Johns rounds it up. And then he's hit by the two onrushing players, Jones and Byrne of Wakefield. Alexander, great play from Alexander. I must say, the two full-backs have impressed me. Belcher on Sunday, Alexander here tonight.
Two classy players indeed. But Fulton won't be happy with this performance. I know it's an easy win in the end, but it hasn't been a team performance by the Kangaroos. Far too much individual football, and a lot of the tries coming from individual play.
Yes, there's been probably far too many errors for Bob Fulton's comfort. Shelford. "12 minutes to go. The Australians are well ahead, 36 points to 18. But Wakefield keeping things going right to the final siren here. Oh, juggling with the ball. Referee's whistle goes. Penalty to Australia. Right, well, we can now go to the touchline again. Peter Hutton is there, and Kevin Walters is talking to him.
Well, Kevin, 18 points between the sides, but it's been quite a tough game for the Aussies.
Yeah, it has been. They've started to come back us the last few minutes, so the boys have to hang in there.
They've really got stuck into you as well today.
Yeah, it's been quite a hard game. The crowd has really spurred them on, and it's been a good performance from them. As I say, the game's not over yet, so anything could happen.
What about your own side's performance? Pleased the way things are going?
Yeah, not too bad. This is our first run over here together, so, you know, we're going all right, but a few drop balls and silly passes have cost us dearly, so we'll have to work on that.
But clearly everyone wants to get out of that midweek side and into the weekend side, into the test team.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and, you know, if we keep playing like we did tonight, maybe some of us might get through.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
No worries.
Great competition amongst the 28 Australians then for a place in the test at Wembley on the 27th of October. And Des Hasler back on, and he's certainly a man with his eye on a test spot. Off the sin bin, and what a good tackle. The two number 14s clashing there. Richard Slater on Desi Hasler. Great tackle. And not only that, Hasler was dragged into touch. Watch this, copybook stuff.
Great play by Slater. He used the touchline as a player. He knew he had to push him out wide. And dive just at the right moment.
Well, the scrum has collapsed in an untidy heap. Wakefield have come up with it, but the right back, that is their own try line immediately behind them. That's two tackles gone. Referee's whistle. Penalty to Wakefield. Australia had again strayed offside. That's been a feature of both the matches, actually. They have been caught offside, not only when they're attacking without the ball, but also when they're in possession.
Yes, that's a problem that Bobby Fulton is trying to clear up with the English referees. But that's the pressure that they apply to all the sides. They take the risk. They use the dish-like defence. The centres move out wide very, very quickly and try to force the passage down the middle.
Penalty figures, 16 for Wakefield and only 6 given to the Australians. Something there for Bob Fulton, perhaps, to think about overnight?
I think Bobby Fulton knew what was in store before he left Sydney, and he was quite open about the whole situation, hoping that he'd just get at least a fair go.
Ed Byrne doing well. Little kick over the top. We saw that being employed quite a bit by St Helens on Sunday. Not so much in these slippery and wet conditions here tonight, though. Stewart in possession for the Australians. Well brought down by Jones.
There we see the Australian side really going from dummy half, and there's no one really taking control out there. Elias should be there trying to urge them on.
Here is Elias. This is Gillespie. And this is Shearer. Oh, and there's a heavy tackle on Shearer. Not too happy with that from Nigel Bell. Elias again, organising from dummy half. Tackling again, though, from Nigel Bell. Working hard tonight, Bell. Now the Australians camped out again. Stewart, this is Hasler. Hasler's good ball inside. Oh, the tall man is there. He's looking for support, offloads it easily. Alexander's in for another try.
Well, they failed to put the man with the ball down there, and that really was another soft try for Alexander. Good support play, though. He's had a fine game, the full-back. There we see Hasler onto McGaw. Look at the strength of the man. And that really is a problem that the English sides are going to have to overcome. You can't afford to just let them stand in the tackle. He's a big boy, plenty of strength in the upper body. Look at him there, searching for that final pass, and in for it. And it wasn't a try. They've disallowed it.
The referee saw something that we didn't. A forward pass, I think, and from the resulting scrum, a penalty to Wakefield at the scrum. So, as you were, no try. It stays 36-18 in Australia's favour. No try. Alexander will be upset about that. Andy Wilson won't, though. This is the reason why we have this break in play. Another handling error from Wakefield. The 22nd handling error from them, and in dreadful conditions, only 12 handling errors as far as Australia are concerned. Another penalty at the scrum to Wakefield. The penalty count will make horrendous reading, and both Ricky Stewart and Benny Alliance asking for clarification from the referee, and the referee saying to Mr. Stewart that the man in yellow will referee it, not the man in green and gold. OK, says Benny Elias, you're in charge.
I think a lot of these players now, Eddie, looking towards a nice hot shower. It's been one of those nights.
Shelford. Seen much of the ball, but not really done too much with it. There's the penalty count, and it's gone just slightly Wakefield's way. 18-6. Pity it wasn't 18-6 in points. It's only 18-6 in penalties. Here they come again. Stewart, good play from him. Handling skills so much a part of the Australian scene, and as we saw on our coverage of the Australian League this season, so much a part of Canberra's preparation for matches. They really do build up towards match days and try and get their players almost juggling with the ball in Sydney, don't they, Mike?
They certainly do, but I really think they're at fault. The Australian side are doing exactly what they did against St Helens late in the second half. They're taking things a little bit easy. They're just going through their training routines, and who knows, maybe a bit of complacency can come into the Australian side. Maybe Wigan can take advantage of that at the weekend.
Yes, Wigan against Australia here on the Sports Channel on Sunday in our usual slot. That looked a mile forward. The referee waves play on. And again, Wilson drops the ball. Lazenby hacks it forward. The referee's whistle will sound and bring us back to a scrum down. Wilson annoyed. And this is the reason why. Hasler, the man he had to go round. And it squirted out. With a bit of help from Desi Hasler too, I think. Andy Wilson. Nigel Bell has won the Wakefield Trinity Man of the Match award for number 10 for Wakefield. But this isn't a bad run from Brad Fittler. I've been impressed by this young man tonight too, in these dreadful conditions. And there is Nigel Bell, Wakefield's Man of the Match. Mike Stevenson's Man of the Match would be... Well, we'll let him think about it for a moment.
Well, there's a little bit of a scuffle. It's on again. And really, this isn't what it's all about, fellas. Come on. The game's gone. There's no heroes in doing things like that.
Well, there's another player, Mark Geyer, with blood streaming down from his face, and this is how it all started. Bit of a head going in there, I think, by number 15, Billy Conway, and then it starts.
Yes, that it is. Referee takes a tumble, and that is stupid play.
And Billy Conway has been sin-binned for that. And the referee wants a word with Mr. Hasler now. 15 departs. He's sin-binned for 5 minutes to cool his heels. And Shearer is now sin-binned for something he said to the referee. 5 minutes in the bin for Mr. Shearer. Meanwhile, a penalty to Australia. Scrappy is the word that comes to mind.
Certainly is, and you've got to give credit to the young kid on the sideline wanting the autograph of the guy who's just got into the sin bin. Oh my God, he could have got something more than just the autograph then.
Are you better at maths than me? How many's left now? It's 11 apiece, isn't it? We're into soccer now, aren't we?
Certainly is, and whatever's left out there, they're certainly tired.
Last 2 minutes. Here's Lazarus. Well, he might be tired, but oh, he's lost the ball. Wilson's picked up, and he's been ankle tapped. They take no prisoners in the tackle, the boys in the green and gold, do they?
They're certainly not, and there's Lazarus looking for the inside pass.
Trying to be a little bit clever for his own good there, Glenn Lazarus. But here we go again. And they're all getting involved. Every player on the pitch is running towards this. And this, I'm afraid, is bordering on the disgraceful.
Well, he's pretty close to losing control here, the referee.
Another one off. Ricky Stewart has been sent off by the referee. Sensational here at Bellevue. 2 Kangaroos sent off here tonight. Ricky Stewart off and Mark Carroll off in the first half. And Mr. Allett, the man in yellow, will grab all the headlines in the morning.
Well, here you see it. Stewart coming in. And this is just a matter of squaring things off. It's been boiling and boiling, and it could even boil over even more now.
Well, Kevin Allett has penalised the Australians all evening, and he's not going to win many friends in the Antipodes, I don't think, tonight. And he won't win many friends in that Australian dressing room. And the penalty count will make staggering reading, I think, at the end of it. And not only that, he sent 2 of the Kangaroos off.
Well, let's hope that we can get some football in the last remaining seconds of this game.
Just checking what the 2 sendings off will mean. The Australian and also the man from Wakefield, John Thompson, who was sent off tonight. 3 men have been sent off on this match. They will appear before the Rugby League Disciplinary Committee tomorrow, we believe. And it then depends on their version of events here at Bellevue what happens as far as the rest of this tour is concerned for Messrs Carroll and Sargent, Messrs Carroll and Stewart of Australia. So an important day at disciplinary headquarters tomorrow. A couple of Great Britain internationals and now 2 Kangaroos will be appearing before them. Oh, and another almighty collision. Nigel Bell, meanwhile, carries things on. The Wakefield player is flat out on the pitch. And it's Andy Mason who's groggily getting to his feet. And this is the reason why.
Yes.
Bang!
Oh, dearie me. No attempt to tackle the man. It's in the rules. I wish to take it out. This shoulder charging, that can be very dangerous indeed.
Well, the referee has seen that the ball was knocked out of the arms of Des Hasler. Good tackle by Jed Byrne.
Very good tackle indeed. Watch the knees. Hasler slipping through. It was accidental. He would have felt that with Des Hasler.
From the scrum, the penalty has gone Wakefield's way. There is the full-time siren, though, as Shelford picks up. And so the end.